Hi everyone. So I think we'll start now. We'll start with the IDD. So IDD I have explained yesterday that there are two things. That's the user part. So which is something that you should be clear now because I have explained that user part. Now we'll see how to design an application. That's the important thing. So let's check this.
Hey, Sunil, this is Hari. Very quickly,
Yeah.
did we have a class yesterday? I
Yeah.
thought there was an email from you saying there was not going to be a class, right?
No, there was okay. I think so. You are from US.
Yeah.
Okay, there was a confusion maybe. Yeah, yesterday there was a class. So that was for India timing I mentioned.
Okay. All right.
Okay, so there is something called as user part and there is something called as developer part. So user part is something that's very simple. Actually, frankly speaking, okay, I'll just quickly go through that now so that those who missed can easily understand. See, this is the user part and the link I'm accessing is the this link. For user part, the link is BDD. For this part, the link is BDD, then config. Okay. So if I go here, what are the things that I can do on a high level basis? I can create a record, I can update a record, update a record, I can merge the records, I can unmerge the records, or I can accept as unique. Pretty much most of the things that you can do in merge manager, data manager, hierarchy manager, those kind of things with a business touch, with a business touch. Okay, so if I go here, then admin. So let's say if I choose this. So this is how I create the data. Go here and say person, then I can fill this form. And once I fill the form, I just say apply. So what will happen? A customer will be created, right? Then I have queries. So that is the first one is that is this button is same as the create. And all these remaining things can be done using the queries. So queries, you can create your own query. So remember, this query is not the same as your uh, queries in the Hub Console tool. Actually, they are same, but they are not related here. It means that if you create a query, you will not see the query in there. Okay. So customer person, let's say if I want to uh, see person display name search, right? Then I can open any record. Okay. And if I want to, let's say if I open this record, Sadie Flowers. This is also merged. Okay, let me do one thing. I will create a new query with consolidation indicator as 2. Invalid identifier. Okay, that's not used here. Okay, no problem. I'll so this is my match table. Let's say if I search this record. So this is a potential duplicate, right? So how do I search this record? You search using row ID object. Go here and say row ID object, then search. Okay, Donald Mayfair. That's the name. If I open this record, you see these potential matches. So this guy has a match or a duplicate with another guy called as Donald Mayfair. And if I want to merge it, simply go here and merge it, or not a match. If you want to declare, you can do that and queue for merge, right? And you can view the cross reference here. You can view the history here. History is the history, simple history that uses the hist table. And this is SCD type 2, slowly changing dimensions, which we call it as dynamic timeline. See here, uh, to enable history, you need to do it here. Just go and click this button that will enable the history. And if you want to enable dynamic timeline, that is SCD type 2, go here and select that, right? Simple logic. And then you have matches where you can compare two records and see which is going to be the survivor, victim, all those things, right? And you can also see the hierarchy. These are the things that we can do. Now let's try to understand how to create this application. First of all, understand this very clearly that by default, when you install Informatica, yeah, the IDD will be, there won't be anything in IDD. When you try to access IDD, it will actually throw you an error. It will throw you an error, right? So you are able to see this because it is configured. So if I go here, the user ID password is always same. So you can see here, different IID applications are configured. We'll create our own application, and you can also do that later. How to create an application? Say add. Okay. Let's say I'll say Sunil underscore app, which is already there, but I'll delete that. Yeah, this is fine. Now let's create one more application. How many applications are there currently? One, two, three, four. Okay. So let's create uh, one more application. So add, let's say I'll make it as Sunil IDD app. Say okay. That's it. Add an application. But you see the problem is you see a cross mark here. Cross mark means you have created the application but it's not configured yet. So if you have not configured, it's not of much use. Okay. So you need to configure the application. So once you configure, you will see a tick mark like this, right? The most important step is to configure, which we will see now. Okay. To configure this, what you need to do here is go here. Okay, click on this application, and this is the page where you need to configure the application. Okay, so first what you do here is you can keep this as it is, default values just. Then see, first understand this, that from where it is picking this data. You see Mayfair Donald. So from where it is picking the data? Definitely it will be from some ORS, right? From some ORS. Now is it one ORS, multiple ORS? One ORS. So this is picking the data from a single ORS. It means that my IDD application must be linked to an ORS. It must be linked to an ORS, right? So that's what is done here. So you go here and say add, and what I'm doing now, I'm linking this application to a particular ORS. That is, let's say ORS sample. I'll say ORS sample. Right? Now this identity application is configured to use this ORS. Now you apply the gum. So this is just like say bind it. So when you say bind, this application is linked with this ORS. Right? Now once that is done, then what you need to do is just try to save it, but I think it will throw error because this is not there. Right? So now an identity application consists of these things. You have something called as subject area group. You have something called as subject area. Then you have something called as subject area child. Then you have subject area grandchild. Alright. You have subject area group, subject area child, subject area grandchild. These are the four key concepts, out of which as of now just neglect the below. Let's just concentrate on subject area group, subject area. First, let's try to understand what's a subject area group. Subject area group, 1 minute. Okay, so subject area group is nothing but your main entity or main table. For example, if I go here, let's say ORS sample, and if I check this data model, right? In this whole data model, what is my main table, my main entity? What is my main entity? My main entity is party, of course, right? So there is a central entity. Central means, so this is where the whole tree starts. This is the root, the party table, right? So party will be my subject area group. Now let's say that in case of a product, so I also have a product data model here. So in case of a product, where is the product? Yeah. So in case of a product, what is the central table, the main table? This one, of course, the product table. So in case of a product data model, the subject area group will be product. Clear? Simple logic, right? So what is a subject area group? That is the main business entity based on which the whole application is created, right? In our case, this is nothing but it's related to C party, right? Now what is subject area? Subject area is business division of subject area group, or in our case this is party. Why I'm saying why I'm not saying party here, because if in an interview if someone is asking what is subject area group, you don't explain like uh, subject area group is party. No, subject area group is the main entity based on which application is created. In case of product it will be product, in case of employee it's employee, in case of party it's party. Simple logic. Now this is business division of subject area group. So how do I distinguish the records in my party table? I do it using two things. Person organization, right? Person organization. So using that, I am distinguishing the data. So person organization is my subject area. Person is my subject area. Organization is my subject area. So person organization. These are my subject areas, right? So person, and if I have to technically write that, then select star from C underscore party, where party type is equal to person, right? And for this one, the query will be organization. Clear? Now let's say that my business, they would like to distinguish the data not using person organization, but they would like to see that using let's say small scale, large scale, medium scale, and dot dot dot. Then my subject area will be small scale, large scale, medium scale, very large scale, right? So now with this knowledge, let's try to create the application. So go here, try to refresh once. Okay, so this is done. So now you create one subject area group. Go here. This should be enable. Find it. This should be enabled. Sometimes this identity has a lot of bugs, so you have to be patient when you are doing something. So this, it's not showing. I tried last time. Okay, now it's coming. Okay, so say add subject area group, and subject area is nothing but my party table. So just go here, and I can name it as customer. I can also name it as party, but customer is more meaningful name, and ORS, and then choose the party table. Here I go, party table. Clear? So subject area group is nothing but it's the party table. Here, say OK. So that's my subject area group. Then you create the subject area, that is person organization. First of all, let's create the person only. So go here, say add subject area. So person, and which column is used to distinguish this? Party type, right? So choose party type. So party type is equal to person. This is the condition here. Okay. So party type is equal to person. Okay. And then the package is mandatory here. Okay. So package should already be created. And then let's say choose some columns. Let's say I'll just choose first name, middle name, last name. That's it. Only three columns. Say OK. Save it. Valid. So you're getting this error. You can neglect this error because this is not an error. This is this. I mean, this will come by default. So that's not a problem. You can neglect that. This will go off if I say generate business entity schema, but that's not necessary, right? So I have a subject area group. I have a subject area, and my application is done because I've created a very basic application. Okay. So just remember that I have chosen first name, middle name, last name. Only three columns. First name, middle name, last name. Okay. So if I go here, I can still see the cross mark, right? So to correct the cross mark, you go here, say application state full deployment. If you do full deployment, then this cross will be gone. Say full deployment, right? So the cross is gone. Now my application is available here. This is where my application is available, right? Let's check it. So say new, create person. Do you observe one thing? I'm not getting organization here. I'm getting only person. Why? Because I created just person, right? So click on that. It is only displaying three things: first name, middle name, last name. Why? Because I have created only three. So if I go here, so log in, right? If I go here, just 1 minute. Just 1 second. Okay. So if I go here and say edit subject area, so let's say I will add two more columns. Let's say the birth date, gender. Okay. Say okay. Save that and validate it. Right. Now you go ahead and refresh this and say create new customer, new person. So here I go. Can you see 5 fields? So is it clear? The application that you have seen, how you can create an application like that, right? Very simple. Okay. Now let's try to complete this by creating person. We have done it. Let's create organization. So go here. This will sign out quite often. Now create another one. Add subject area. Now this one is organization. Organization. Same. Same. So here, this is the most important field, subtype. If you give organization in a uppercase or different case, then you will not get any data. Okay, so you should be careful here. And then the package organization, let's say just organization name, dunce number. That's it. Say okay. Okay. Save. Then validate it. Right? Now refresh and try to access the application. You should see two things. Person organization. So here I go. Person organization. So what is customer here? Subject area group. What is person organization? Subject area. Clear? Simple logic. Right? Now if I say create organization, you should see only two things. Organization, dunce number. If I say create person, I can see 5 things. Simple. If you want to add additional columns, you can just go and add it. Right? That's how you create a very basic application. Okay. Now if you remember earlier, yesterday or just now in the initial session I was showing you that in that session you were saying that there is something called as address used to come here, contact used to come here, email and email ID details used to come here, but here I can't see that. Right? If you want to see that, you that is nothing but the subject area child. That is nothing but the subject area child. Okay, subject area child. If you need to configure the subject area child, if let's say if you want to see the address, then configure the subject area child. How to do that? Go here, login, right? Go to this application and in the person say add subject area. Sorry, in the person say add subject area child. Click on person and say add subject area child, and here let's say I want to add the address, so addr, let's say. And do you uh, can you see what is the relationship between party and address here? So this is party and this is address, The relationship between party and address is many to many. You can see here using this intersection table, party address rel. Using that table, it is many to many. So you need to choose the relationship as many to many. One to one is logical one to one. One to many is one to many. Then I have two things. Part of reference. Both are many to many. Part of is many to many. Reference is also many to many. What is the difference? In part of, you can create a new address as well. In reference, you can't create a new address. You can only link the existing address, but you can't create a new address. So let's just choose part of, say address. Okay. And this is not necessary. Just choose the column. So I'll just choose address line 1. Let's say name. Then line 3. Let's just choose these three things. Say OK. And say OK. Save. Validate. Save and validate. Sometimes you need to redeploy, not always. So if I go here, sometimes you need to redeploy. To redeploy, you need to click here. But it's only necessary for major change, not for small changes. So see here, if I try to create a person, it should show me the address, right? Simple logic. Or if I query a person, it should show me the address. Okay, person, address, right? Simple logic. That's what is called as the subject area child. Then we have another concept called as subject area grandchild. Now this is a child table of subject area child. And normally subject area grandchild is not used. Not used means not used much, very rarely. But anyway, the way you have configured subject area child, same way you need to configure subject area grandchild. Nothing different. Okay, so these two should be completely clear. This should also be completely clear, right? That's the key. That's how you create a IDD application. And then there are advanced features like if I go here, then for example, see here, let's say admin. See, if I go here, I can also use cleanse functions. So for example, if I go here, edit subject area, let's say that we have many different things here, right? I'll show you the cleanse. Okay, cleanse. It means what will happen? I'll demonstrate, then you'll understand. String functions, let's say concatenate, first name, middle name, last name. Just remember that last name is equal to first name plus middle name. Just say okay, save, validate, then go here. Say create new person, Sunil Kumar. Let's say I will not give any value here. What is happening? Sunil and Kumar. It is concatenating and it is storing here. Let's say if I give any value, let's say Sunil Kumar M. It is neglecting that value and still it is taking concatenating my first name, middle name and using that, right? So that's what is the cleanse function. You understood what is the use of cleanse function here? So the cleanse function tab, the cleanse function tab is typically used whatever I have demonstrated to if the user is mentioning some changes, then it is used. This is, you already know this. This is for the displaying of the columns. Then I have something called as match settings. Okay, match settings means what this will do is, if you try to insert a duplicate, right? If you try to insert a duplicate, then IDD has the ability to find if it's a duplicate or not. But you need to configure. You just need to go and select the match rule set and choose the columns based on which duplicate identification is done. Then that will be used. Then I have something called a search. Search is like this. See here. There are two type of search you have seen. One is your standard, advanced. So let's say if I go with standard and say uh, you can see there is something called as extended search. Extended search basically means, I'll show you the feature of extended search quickly. Extended search means fuzzy searching. Okay, for example, let's say if I open this application where it is already configured. See here, when I click on extended search, I'm getting display name only, right? Let's say Linda. Okay, can you see here that, let's say if I say McLean Linda, do you see this? This is Linda McLean. This is McLean Linda. How that is happening? This is using the fuzzy search logic, fuzzy match logic, okay, to find the duplicates, right? So that is typically configured in the match settings, right? So that is that you need to configure here. And data security and data masking are not much used, but still important. Data security means the logic is simple. See here, let's say you have a you have Amit, let's say you have John, you have Frank. Now John is an analyst on individual data and Frank is an analyst but corporate data. So he analyzes the corporate data, not the individual data, right? Individual data, corporate data. So I want John to access only individual data, that is only person related data. He should not be able to access organization, and this guy should access only organization data. If I want to do that, how can I do it? That's what is done here. Okay, you go here, data security, say add. Okay, so root party type is equal to person. You first of all you create a role called as person. In your hub console you create a role called as person. Let's say this is person. Go here and say okay. Now anyone with this role as demo can access only the person data. Similarly you do it for organization. Okay, then you have data masking. Data masking, normally we don't use it, but it's simple only. The logic is, let's say if I want to mask the first name, star asterisk, and let's say see, masking is done for some users. So let's say that Sunil, test it. So you can see here, if your name is Sunil, then you will see 5 stars. Okay, let's say if I assign that to demo. So if someone logs in with the privilege demo, role demo, then he cannot see the first name. He'll only see 5 stars, 5 asterisks. Cleanse, something that I've already showed. Label. Label basically means that when you view a customer, let's say if I open this, let's say if I query and open a customer, okay, you can see here what it is showing, person flower sadi, right? So it is coming because of this. You can see here label, the label 0 means person, that is nothing but your subject area name. Okay, and then if you want to add new things you can add it. So let's say if I go ahead and create a customer person, then you can see here it's new person. So because it's new, $0 means person. If you want to add any columns you can do that. Then task assignment, this is moreover related for active VOs. So if you're using active VOs with MDM for business process management, then this can be useful. And the last one is for changing the order of the children. So currently this is the order how you are seeing the data. If you want to shift or jumble that, you can do it. But normally no one will change this. You can just leave it default, right? Similarly for my child, I have less things, just data masking and cleanse, not even data security. Same way, the way I have configured for subject area, same thing is for subject area child. Okay, let's say if I add one more subject area, let's say add subject area child. Okay, you can see that if I select one to many, it is displaying 1 2 3 6 tables. If I choose part of or reference, only one table. So how Informatica is knowing if this is one to one, one to many? How Informatica is knowing that? Informatica knows this using the match path. So in the party table, if I go here, then match mode setup, and if I go to the match path, 1 minute. See, in the match path, using this match path information, Informatica will identify why this is hanging. 1 minute. Okay. So using this match path information, Informatica identifies if you can see here address is many to many, remaining all are one to one or one to many. Okay. So that is the information that is used. Uh, right. So that's the concept of IDD. And then the last concept of IDD is the lookup, IDD lookups. That is nothing but, for example, let's say, if I go ahead and let's say I'll go here and let me access this application. Let me try to create a person. You can see here gender is list of value, female, male, unknown, right? Now let's say if I want to make middle name as a lookup or as a list of value, then that is what is called as lookup in IDD. How to configure that? It's slightly different. So what you need to do here is you go here and export this application first of all. So you export the application to an XML file. So export. So this is exported into an XML file. Then you open that. Open this application. Okay, this is the file that I need to edit, the XML file bdd config. So say edit. Let's say that I want to use lookup on middle name, right? I don't remember the syntax. So you open this guide, this IDD, I think implementation guide, this one. Yeah. So lookup, you can simply copy paste it. So see here, what you need to do here is go here. Let's say I want to do it on the middle name. So just copy, and as per the documentation I need to make something like this. Be careful when you're doing it, because okay, so I need to change this to something like this, right? So let's change that. First you remove this slash, then you just copy paste this here, right? And you can change this to uh, kr ki km, let's say, then ki, and this is Kumar, let's say this. Okay, now your middle name will always be Kumar or Kumari, right? That's the meaning. Copy this and go to the XML file and replace that here and save it. Okay, so now save it and then go here and import the application. So go here, import XML, browse, then this and this application, import, replace, and ORS sample, save it. Okay, now if I, okay, it's showing some error. Okay, you deployed that. See full deployment. Done. Now check it. Say new person. So see here. Okay, that's called as a lookup, static lookup. So there are two types of lookup, static, dynamic. Static means what I have just shown you, that is called a static lookup. Dynamic lookup means this one is dynamic lookup. So this one is based on LU underscore gender table. So in my LU underscore gender table, I have three values, right? So if I have more values, you would have seen more entries here. So how to enable dynamic lookup? Dynamic lookup, you don't have to do anything. If the table is there, if a lookup table is there, automatically you will see this. The only thing is, in case of a lookup table, this should be enabled. Lookup indicator should be enabled. If that is there, then you don't need to do anything. Automatically it will take care. But static lookup is something that you need to configure. The way I have configured, you need to configure same way. Okay, that is the concept of IDD. Okay, you practice the IDD, then it will be more clear. Right, you have any doubts? Okay, if you have no doubts, then it's okay. You go through this IDD and you create your own application. Okay, so you can create your own application. Up to 10 application, there is no issue, but you create, I'll check it. I'll delete the old applications. Okay. Okay, guys, then, thanks.